Do you realize how non-technical I am? It's a generation gap.
So awesome that it's
Thank
like...
you. It's not okay from my end. I soaked my shirt. Soaked my shirt trying to figure
You
this
did
out.
it.
It's so crazy. Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much. I'm just honored and, oh goodness, honored and tickled, and all
Well,
kinds
I
of good
feel
things
honored too.
happening.
I'm like, yes, Doug Graham's gonna come on my live video. I can ask him all these questions. Unless you want to ask me questions. That's also allowed, of course. Oh, don't lose the connection now.
No, I don't want to ask you questions. I have no questions. I have lots of questions, but I think
Yes,
we can ask each other
absolutely.
questions.
I
Cool.
don't know. I'm in
How's
Spain.
things in Holland? You're in Spain, and how's things in Spain? What's It was crazy in
Well, the
Spain, no?
most beautiful thing here is the weather. It was cold today. Look,
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
wearing
good.
a fleece. It says 21 degrees Celsius. Yes, and
Oh
everybody
my
is wearing
goodness.
jackets.
How do you put up with all? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 19 here. It's really
So I've been having, like, it's supposed to be autumn, but like it's still summer here. You can still enjoy the sea and the beach. So really nice. We're having really beautiful persimmons and...
I was just going to ask you, I mean, all my persimmon
Yeah.
comes from Spain. So you
You
must
have to
be
be
getting
quick.
really good persimmon, right? Well, I buy a lot right now. Like in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I buy a lot. And then I've got it till
Yep.
at least Christmas or
Yep.
more. By then there's
Then
other
Spain is
great
full of
food, so I
citrus.
don't
Yes,
worry about it.
absolutely. Well, I was telling the people
Exactly.
in the video, like, you know, when you travel, you have to bring this with. And I was just saying to people that it's so amazing that you are part of this raw vegan bundle and sharing your audiobook in there. And I haven't found the time to listen, you know, all this material yet. Yes, but I
Right.
did
There's
see
a
your
lot of
video
material.
yesterday about your intuition and how it can improve with the way you eat, and that's something that for me that resonates a lot. And so it was like, wow, that's really cool. I don't know if your book about that, but
So no. My book's about completely other things, but yes, that was when I was talking with Chris, and you know, he asked me a great question too, I thought. He said, "Do you ever get the feeling that less than 12 bananas is just a snack for in between meals?" I don't generally eat in between meals, but 12 is like the minimum for me, you know. And I don't like to scare people away when I say that, because, you know, if I eat 3,000 calories a day and you eat 2,000 calories a day, well, you know, then 8 bananas is a
actually
lot for you.
after 3, it just doesn't, I can't swallow anymore. Like banana and me we're not so good friends. NICECREAM banana, I can do that.
Right.
I mean, when it's
Yeah, I
all,
can't eat a lot of
you know,
that.
when it's mixed with other fruits. So I have 2 bananas and, you know, a whole box of different kind of berries together. I can just eat that. I can eat that twice a day. I can eat that tomorrow. For me, that works fine. But just bananas, nah, just...
Well, you know, I mean, I've had plenty
Oh,
of clients who
wow.
don't eat any bananas ever. Either they're allergic or they don't like the taste or it doesn't
Yeah,
digest
I get
well.
bloated.
You know, it's not a necessity. It's not a requirement
Yeah,
by
for
any
me, I
stretch.
like to go to the toilet. Even if my bananas are completely black, for some reason, they still don't like to come out very, very well.
Well, so you do
Oh,
what works for you.
yes.
But
And
persimmon works.
mangoes. We got such beautiful mangoes from
Yeah.
Spain now. That's really amazing. So if I eat 2,000 calories, how many mangoes do I need?
Depends on their size, doesn't it? I've never really, I've done all the math, okay? I can give you the ideas, but it very much depends on the mangoes. And so I prefer for people to get a sense of how much food do they need in order to be satisfied for as long as they wish to be satisfied. So if I'm eating lunch at noon and I know that dinner is at 4, I'm not going to eat a
Right.
huge number of bananas. But if I know
Yeah.
dinner isn't going to be until 7:30 and I'm eating at noon, and I need the bananas to keep me happy until 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock at night, I'm going to chow down. And whether that's mangoes or persimmon or figs or whatever it is, I kind of, and this came with experience, but it's got to come with experience for everybody. It's not a recipe cookbook. Well, this will hold you this long. It depends on the person, how active they've been, how good their digestion is, how efficient, how hungry they were. Are they trying to gain, lose, or maintain? There's so many factors. Are they under emotional stress? There's a lot of things that add to your, was it a big workout day yesterday? Like, I ate my normal lunch today. I had 8 persimmon, and they're good. They're the big, the Spanish large persimmon, and Rojo Briante, I think they're
Honestly,
called.
on the box, it doesn't say
Yeah,
that.
the variety. Yeah,
Yeah.
by the case,
The
it
one,
says on the case. So they're called,
yes.
at least here in England, they're called Briante is um, the variety name. And normally 8 of those will hold me for a long time, maybe 5 hours before I'm even remotely hungry. But not today, because last night I worked out super heavy, really, a double workout and heavy. And today my body just sucked it up. I was hungry. So if I wanted to last longer,
Okay.
you have to have a framework of reference. And it's the same thing if we said, how many blueberries do you eat for lunch if you're
I
going to
think I eat,
just have
I eat
blueberries?
like, when I eat just mono, I'm always like, if I'm not hungry, I'll have half a kilo. And if I'm like hungry, I have 1.5 kilos. And that's a little bit my range. And
Exactly. But
yes,
right, and you're talking from experience. But for the people who've never had a meal of just blueberries, because it was the middle of blueberry season and you were out
absolutely.
picking
Here it happens.
blueberries,
It's
so you had
blueberry
blueberries
season.
for
The
lunch.
market guys say, I cannot do anything with Wendy. They need to be eaten. Do you want the box? It's, I don't know, €2.
Right,
And they say, how many kilo? Oh, about 10. Like,
right.
okay, it's blueberry week. And, 3 days with the family, it's finished. Exactly.
Absolutely. You blend them, you freeze them, you eat them, mix it into everything, you throw it in the
That's how it
salad, you throw
goes.
it in the smoothie. Hate to say it, but you poop blue. And, but the people who've never had a meal of just blueberries would have no idea how much blueberries to eat in order
Okay.
to be satisfied for 5 hours. And so I like to do it because most people eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, you might or you might not, but most people that we know eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they know if they eat breakfast at 7:30 and lunch is going to be at noon, they need to eat
Mm-hmm.
enough food to last that long. Now, You have to get it wrong a lot until you get it right. I think in cartoons a lot, but I saw the greatest cartoon, and it was a girl trying to reach up to grab something that was hanging from a tree. I don't know, piece of fruit. I don't know what it was, but there's something hanging from a tree. She was trying to get it. It could have been her kite, for goodness sakes. And she got a brick, and because she couldn't reach by herself, so she got a brick and stood on the brick, and she still couldn't reach. And there was a word written on the brick, and the word was failure. So then she got a second brick and piled them on top of each other, and with two bricks, each of which said failure, she still couldn't reach. And she started piling the bricks higher and higher. She built a staircase out of bricks, each of which said failure, until she had about 50 of them and had a very nice little set of stairs.
Sounds good.
And she still couldn't reach when she got to the top of the stairs, but she had one more brick in her hand. And she put that brick down, and that brick also had a word written on it. All the others said failure, but that brick said success. And she stood on the success brick and then grabbed her kite, or her hat, or her piece of fruit, or whatever it was she was trying to get. And for me, this is how I succeed. Success is built on a whole lot of failures. And failures are terrific. They get you that much closer. It's like being a door-to-door salesman, and everybody slams the door in their face. They go, no, no, no. But eventually somebody says, yes. And that's the song he has to sing is no, 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 yes. Because every no brings you closer to a yes, and every failure brings you closer to success. And that's just how it's got to be. Every customer who says, I'm just looking, brings you closer to the customer who says, I'm going to buy. And for people in the world who've been looking all their life for a program or a diet or a food plan or a lifestyle that gives them what they want or lets them get what they want, you got to keep looking until you find what you're looking for. There's got to be some failures before you hit the success. There's very few kids, you got one, I've got one, but there's very few kids who had the advantage of being raised on raw food. There's just not very many of them. There's not even that many who are raised vegan, but really on raw food. It's a limited number of exceptional kids. So, yeah, all the ones I've ever met are doing fine. I haven't met any that weren't incredibly talented, incredibly intelligent, incredibly active, incredibly incredible. I mean, they've all been like every single time I keep meeting these incredible kids, right? And they're raised on raw. What a gift to give the kids. So, but for everybody else that's just looking, you look and you look and you look until you find what you're looking for. I mean, I lost my keys one time. I remember I lost my car keys. Couldn't find them anywhere. And I knew where they had to be. They had to be in the car seat. They must have fallen out of my pants and into the car seat. Fine. I went out to the car, looked. Nope, not there. Started looking everywhere. I looked in all the places we might normally keep the keys. I looked in all the places we would never keep the keys. I went back to the car and searched under the seat, around the seat. Did the whole process a second time, looked everywhere that I knew I wasn't going to find my keys. But you have to keep looking because I needed the car. Finally, on the third time, I start again. And the third time, I checked the car seat. But this time I checked, it was a bucket seat, so the bottom and the back were two pieces. And between there's a little...
Yeah.
And I had already looked there twice.
Sounds
but this time
familiar
I looked a little
to a
deeper.
lot of people.
I looked... looked a little deeper, right? And this time I found it. And so there's a lot of people looking for a dietary program, like I say, a lifestyle, a food style, whatever you want to call it, that's going to give them or allow them to get what they want out of life, whether that's clarity of mind, or whether it's the energy, or whether it's the positivity, or the health, or the weight management, or the sports performance, or the recovery from disease, or the so many different things. And we are offering a bundle of material that's never been offered before from people who have succeeded. And the rule for success is always you get what you want from the people who have what you want.
That makes sense, huh?
Well, I mean, the corollary to that is, if you lay down with dogs, you'll soon have fleas. If you hang around with bank robbers, pretty soon you'll be driving the car. So it's the same thing. If you want to succeed with a raw food diet, or even give it a fair chance, do so by spending time with the people who already have what you want, whether that's by books or tapes or live associations or by video. Want to spend 2 months in Costa Rica.
Cool. Is this, your retreat, is that like a food retreat, or is it a non-food retreat? Because you do water fasts, right?
Well, it's both. It's actually both. It's for people who want to fast and then recover from the fast and eat for a few weeks after the fast. We're certainly offering a fast supervised. But for people who want to learn about health and immerse themselves in an active, healthy lifestyle where there's lots of education every day on subject matter that will serve them for the rest of their life, we also offer that. We call it an intern program. So they come and they spend the entire time. They make food with us. They study with me 4 times a day, 4 classes a day with me. They spend time interacting with the other guests who are fasting. It's a full package. So usually I get about the same number of people come to each program, depends on which they want. So it's both fasting, feasting,
it sounds
and just
amazing.
Studying and feasting.
I really want to visit Costa Rica someday, so maybe that would be for us, I've got some people saying something. Can you see that? They're like, so there's a big...
Ask me anything you want, Wendy. I'm not paying much attention to the scroll because I'm trying to keep my attention on what I'm talking about. But if you see anything that's interesting in the scroll, just
hi to them.
Interrupt
it's so
me.
Nice. Like here's Wild Roses sharing what amazing offer we have in the raw vegan bundle, and that they are enjoying the books and the ideas so much.
Yeah. Because that's the deal, man. Get the bundle. It's such a good deal. It's an insanely good deal.
That they're still building their staircase, so that's really good. That to know that you're not alone in that, and we all tried and failed, and I tried on a lot of things before going on raw, and for me, I don't feel that I failed on the raw because I already failed on all these other things. This was like my last resort. No way I'm going to quit. Like people say, everybody falls off the wagon. Well, that I don't want to quit. I love it. I love raw foods. I don't like this other stuff. So maybe you're not there yet, when you have to try and try and try. That's for everybody to figure out how to build their staircase, I guess. So,
well, you know what? Once you succeed with whatever it is that you were trying to succeed with, that staircase, it's time to build another staircase, because then you go on to the next thing, and then the next, and what's next. And I mean, that's literally what life is all about, right? Next. Enjoy what you've got by all means, but next. You want to go on to the next accomplishment, read the next book, meet the next best friend, have the next greatest experience, go to the next competition, eat the next
Well,
meal,
I
whatever
love
it
to
is. It's
enjoy
always
the
going to be next,
moment, but
next,
if you
next.
don't have a goal in life, you're lost. Like, you don't know where you're going, you know, then where are you walking if you don't know where you're going? You're going all over the place.
I mean, 10 men on a basketball court with no goals. It would be the most boring life in the world to watch 10 men on a basketball court,
Yeah, yeah.
but there's no hoops, there's no goals. Playing tennis, I mean, playing golf. Could you imagine playing golf and there's no holes in the
Yeah, where are
ground?
you hitting the ball to, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Hitting the ball for the heck of it, no target. There's got to be goals in life, and goals give a lot of meaning. And in the same sense, some of the guys that I train with openly admit, they say, I will never train hard unless
Yeah,
there's a
it's like that.
competition coming. If they don't honestly know that there's a competition coming, they won't train. They'll show up, but they won't do much. They'll just kind of loaf. And I convinced one of the guys that I train with, I said, look, he's 57 on Friday. So it will be 58, 59, 60. When he turns 59, he can compete in a new age group, 60 and under. Because of when his birthday is, they do it by the year you turn. So he'll be 59, but he'll be turning 60 that year. So in 2 years and 2 months, he can compete as a 60-year-old, even though he's 59, and he wants to compete in the national championships.
For what? Oh, wow.
Powerlifting,
Wow.
for powerlifting.
Okay.
Yeah, for powerlifting.
Cool.
He wants to win. He wants to win. I want to compete with him. I told him, if you go, I'll go. Let's go to the national championships in powerlifting. I don't think I can win. I honestly don't. The guys that win are so outrageously far ahead of me that there's nothing I can do. But I'd like to make the top 3. I'd like to place on the podium. And if I can place on the podium, that's pretty good, because I'm new at this sport.
I want to see that.
You know?
I want to see
I don't
that.
have a
That
lifetime.
would be amazing. I want to see that.
British national championships. I mean, that's like, okay, if he does it, I'll do it. So we started training 7 weeks ago, and I can honestly tell you, it added a new incentive to the training. Like you don't really want to loaf, because every session matters. I know there's 100 weeks, there's 110 weeks or something before we'll compete. And we actually won't even compete until March. So there's
yeah, but
120
I understand.
weeks.
I think I can relate to this, like I'm a gymnast, right? You know that. But in school you have this soccer and handball and all these other competitions that are with a ball, and I was never really interested in that. But the school wants the best people, so all the children have to try out. You have to, and then they pick the best. And so I was picked for all of the teams, and I was like, I don't even know how to play soccer, but I was the fastest, and all that. And then once I got to do it and I got in the team, I was gonna win. So then eventually we made second.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I was like, I want a minute, I'm going for it. I don't do half work. And then I was starting to enjoy the sports as well. And no, actually on sprinting, I was still the best. So that I got for school. But like, that's really interesting how that adds this extra dimension of anything in life. But sports is just such an easy example, I guess.
But it's the same with your digestion. I mean, people tell me that doing a raw food diet is so hard, and I just disagree completely.
Yeah.
I think being sick is hard, and being fantastically healthy is the easiest thing in the world. Like, I don't want to give that up for anything. I don't want to give that up for anything. And I certainly don't want to give it
Mm-hmm.
up for a couple of bites of food. That to me is not important enough to say, oh yeah, I'm going to let my health decline. You know, I really want to suffer with indigestion, you know, for a while. I don't want ever to have indigestion. I don't ever want to have, you know, constipation or ever want to have any kind of difficulties with my digestive system. I watch too many people. I've
And
seen too
just
many people
about the
suffer way too much. And
digestive system is just one thing. When I hear you speaking, I'm thinking about like the
right,
moment I was on the bottom of the stairs that I decided to do anything it takes and everything it takes. And I will search and find how my body works, what's wrong, and how to fix it. And I will never, ever go back to this moment. Like being in so much pain that the whole world, like you feel like you're handicapped and you have to ask the neighbor to lift your groceries, and you know you have to ask the supermarket lady to please push it to the car and put it in the car for you. That's just, for me, it was so embarrassing as a young mother. I mean, everybody say, oh, you look so beautiful, you look so good, and your baby's happy, while at this time I'm not able to even go my own shopping. And that's like because of the pain. The pain is not it was the emotional pain of not being able to function in society. Then
sure,
like, and then all
sure.
these other conditions that they label me with, that you'll be in a wheelchair, like that, for me, that was like, no way, that's not worth cooking my food for. Like, no, I don't want to go back there.
No,
I'm finally, I searched, you
no.
know, only over a little over a year, like 2.5 before I actually went on the lifestyle. But that, I mean, that's motivation, I guess.
You know, people say to me, they say, well, you know, yeah, but one cooked meal, I mean, that's not mess you up. And I go, no, and one alcoholic beverage isn't going to kill me, and one cigarette isn't going to kill me. But you're not talking about one cooked meal. You're talking about every cooked meal, a lifetime of cooked meals, and a cumulative effect of cooked meals, and a cumulative effect of the exposure to the health destroying influences that are in cooked food. And look, you know, people say, where do you get this information? I go, you don't need to look in some obscure book. You can go on your computer and just search for teratogens in cooked food, and there'll be tons of information. Teratogens are things that cause your children to have health problems that you didn't have.
Or in
You know,
my case,
like
because I'm a generation under, maybe I had it and my mom didn't have.
it can be 2 or 3 generations. It can be 7 generations down the line, a cumulative that doesn't negatively affect your health necessarily, like thalidomide. When the whole thalidomide thing happened, and the mothers took the thalidomide, and it really didn't harm them in any way that they could tell, but their children were born with no arms and no
Yeah,
legs.
yeah, we gotta get. That's
That's a
not something
problem.
you want in your
So,
body.
but you can go online and just type in, you know, teratogens in cooked food, and there'll be lots and lots and lots of examples, or carcinogens or mutagens, or, you know, mutagens are things that make you age faster. And I'm not looking to age faster. I'm not really looking to age slower. I'm not trying to like look like I'm 15. People sometimes say to me, how come you look, you know, you look, and I go, I look like I'm 70 because I'm going to be 70 next year. How old do you want me to look? You want me to
You
look
look
like I'm
great,
12? I
though.
mean, that would be silly, you know. Oh, bless your heart. You know, I don't have to look in the mirror that often. I have to be able to function. Um, you know, if I need to take a pitchfork and shovel manure all day, I need to be able to do it, and that
Only.
happens a few times a year at least. And oh yeah,
Okay.
only monthly. You know, and if I want to be able to train, and I will tell you for sure that training for powerlifting, it's one thing to lift for like stay toned, you know, but training to lift as heavy as you can possibly lift in life, it takes a lot out of you. And and I want to have that to
Yeah.
give, which means that I've got some reserves. I've got plenty of health in reserve in case, you know, in case somebody calls me up and they're sick and they need me to help them in the middle of the night and I have to stay up all night. I don't want to be
Yeah,
functioning on the
and
edge
if
of a
it's about
disaster.
looks, like how you say about how you feel is the most important thing. Like when you see people, their bodies age, but when you see somebody who is overall healthy, even at their like depending on not depending, no matter what their age, if you're happy and you feel you're thriving and your body is functioning in the way that it's good for you, you see radiant, happy people. You see their eyes sparkly, and I mean that's the case with everybody I'm meeting on these videos right now, and that's something you say, okay, but when we say, oh, well, you got these wrinkles here, like, yeah, I'm gonna be 40. Like, who cares? I feel like 1,000 times better than 5 years ago. So bring them on. And yeah, that's for you.
So 40 years ago, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's pretty warm in Atlanta, Georgia. Some winters they have snow, some winters they don't. Some winters there's ice on a pond, and some winters there's not. Summers are notoriously hot, but even the winters are usually pretty okay, except for a few cold winter days. So there's a kind of a pea called a snow pea, and I planted snow peas at Christmas, and they all came up and they look great, and I'm thinking I'm going to get a head start on my snow pea crop by planting them at Christmas. But then there was snow in January and some bitter cold, and the plants did just fine. They waited out the cold. But in February, now it's in Georgia, February is spring. And in February, I planted a second batch of snow peas. And all they got was beautiful weather. And they caught up and then so far surpassed the ones that had to go through the harsh winter that even though they had a head start, the ones that went through the harsh winter never did as well, never produced as much, never got as big, just didn't make as good tasting peas.
Okay.
Moral of that story. The first 20 years of your life, the developmental years, these are the most critical years in our lives. Sure, of course, now is important, but the most critical setting the stage years are those first 20 years. And some people say the first 6 and then the first 12 and then, but all the way up through the first 20. And I think of the way that I ate in those first 20 years. And it's miraculous that I'm alive at all, let alone look like I'm 12. I mean, I feel great, and that's all that really matters. But to have overcome those first 20 years and really the first 25, to have overcome that, you don't get a second chance at those developmental years. That stage is set. It's done. It's set in stone. It's going to affect your life for the rest of your life. Can you heal? Yes, you can heal. Can you recover? Yes, you can recover. But the damage done is the damage done. Just like if you hit a tree with an axe, it'll keep on growing. But the mark is there forever. So the mark of I once made a list of all the candy I ate. I stopped at 100 different kinds of candy. I used to eat my weight in dairy every month. I used to eat my weight in meat every season. It wasn't healthy eating. It was healthy compared to my neighbors who ate just confections. I mean, that's all they ate. They ate such trash.
But
We ate out of the
still, I ate
garden.
out of
We
the
ate,
garden, but
better. But still, it was still just meat
yeah.
and potatoes and dairy 5, 6, 7
Hey,
times a day. It was just crazy. And I had health problems to go with it. that were all caused by it. And it affected my development. It affected the development of my lungs, my whole body was affected. To this day, I still have some sensitivities that, I created for myself as a child, or my family helped me create. They didn't know better. They didn't know. When I went raw, I took a hard time, from the rest of my family. But eventually, they've all come around and they've all gone vegetarian. Then they all went vegan. Then they all went raw. And in fact, one of my brother-in-laws is coming to Costa Rica this year to solidify his lifestyle. He's 72, and he says, "You know what? I really need to take better care of myself. I'm going to come spend 6 weeks with you."
Guys, you're so much older than me, you and your brother, and we know more people and all of you, there's so much experience and so much knowledge. And I think also for people that are older, like my dad, I don't think he'll ever go 100%, but if you see what he does, he's just amazing. If he's having an off day, he'll be raw. And if he's really sick or something, he'll do a water fast for 2 days. He just do that. And I said, "What do you do?" He said, "Yeah, I pay attention to you." I'm going, "You're doing what?"
Exactly. Because, and this is what I said, we want to be the touchstone. We enjoy being the touchstone. I like rubbing off on others, being an influencer, as they call it. And this is why I say that, and I go back to the bundle. It's just so important for people to associate, to get into your head, to read your book, to read my book, to read Chris's book, or whoever else has put material out into this bundle. I don't know how to emphasize, it's material that doesn't ever exist before. It's brand new. It's not like a rehash of the same old stuff again. It's brand new material, doesn't exist anywhere.
Yeah, that's amazing, huh? Everybody just completely new book, not like the one of last month or last year. No, everybody made something completely new, and we all waited to launch it at the same time to give people the biggest gift ever.
And this is called leadership. This is called leadership. Leaders lead from the front. You can't lead from the back. You can't just sit on your laurels and say, "Well, yeah, I used to be a leader, and now I'm just resting and
resting.
basking
What's
in
that?
glory." No,
I want to let you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to let you know that Instagram gives us 60 minutes and sometimes 58, and then it just cuts it off. So just want to let that know, so that we don't disappear in nowhere, just like that. And then we disappear. We can always come back,
so for me, I just go, wait a minute. I have a chance to learn from the leaders. I have a chance to learn from the people. What you wrote in your book, and what everybody else put into this material, it's like, come to me, people, with your brick, and I'll write success on that brick.
It's like that.
Okay, you've got a bunch of failure bricks. You've tried a lot of things that haven't worked. Now let's add one more brick and reach up and grab the goal. You're that close. If you're already to the point of even watching this live, if you're to the point of thinking about a bundle, absolutely tiny bit of money being spent in order to get a massive amount of material.
Last time I was not in the bundle, but I just decided to support the people that are creating it. And I had a friend who really wanted it, and he wasn't going to buy it, so I just bought it and gave it to my friend. I said, "Here you go. Now you got it." And
it's a small thing. This is not one you have to think about a lot. Should I or should I not invest in this
Yeah, but
no-brainer piece of material. This is an
what's in
awesome
this
deal.
a walk in the jungle
So
thing? Because you know, I only have the cover. Yeah, well, there is an
exactly,
EPUB
so
in it, but
far.
that's also that's got text I saw.
My ebook it's an ebook. It's actually a book I wrote about a walk in the jungle. It's a fictional walk in the jungle because it's a concentration of several different walks in the jungle turned into a one-day walk. And I talk about the various things in nature that we experience and how we interact and interreact to various sounds and smells and sights and what
Mm-hmm.
nature brings us in order to interface into healthy living. You know, when should you be scared, and what hormones happen when you get scared, and when do you smell something wonderful, and what goes on with your emotions and your genetics when you have a positive thought, and on through the various experiences of a day of walking in the jungle. How, you know, when you walk uphill you don't see anything because you're looking down at your feet, and when you're walking down you get all these magnificent views. So it's worth climbing
Mm-hmm.
mountains because the views are at the top,
Yeah, yeah.
not on the
Well,
way
and
up.
I saw it's about. Is it like specific about
And
like Costa Rica? Because I saw I just scrolled through it.
well, the walk happens in Costa Rica. The walk happens in Costa Rica. It happens in an area where I bought property in Costa Rica and have led many walking tours and done
Okay,
thousands of walks.
so I can
Um,
imagine it.
but but the point of it was to express what healthful living can be like when we just
Okay.
go for a
I
walk.
can imagine that it would be a beautiful story, like you use stories how to explain really important facts about the lifestyle and how to succeed on it. So I was really looking forward to it. You know, yes, it will probably be full of beautiful stories.
I think I, it is, but I don't like drive the point home. You know, I kind
Mm-hmm.
of let people
Yeah.
draw their own conclusions. It's really, this one was, I mean, in 80-10-10, I drove the point home. In this one, I let you draw your own conclusions about, you know, what's the right thing. Oh, look, the monkeys eat raw food. Oh, the birds eat raw food. Oh, the pigs eat raw food. Oh, the foxes and squirrels and everybody else, they all eat raw food. I wonder what we're
Well, we'll
supposed
see.
to eat.
I'm curious. I am very happy that's an audiobook because I've lately, last few years, I have zero time, but I just do audios and I can plug that in where I'm, you know, on the excess time, no extra time, you know, the ones in the car and all that. So, be super cool.
Well, for me, it was, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I respect the heck. A lot of the audiobooks I listen to because of the presenter more than the author. There are some presenters who are just fantastic. So when they asked me if I wanted to do 80-10-10, I wasn't convinced that I did because I know how good a professional speaker can speak.
Mm-hmm.
A professional reader can read. And I wasn't secure about that, but a lot of people asked. And eventually I said, okay, I'll make an audiobook and see how it goes. And then I just had this fantastic opportunity because I got marooned in Costa Rica 2 winters ago with the onset of COVID and everybody going. Razi was saying, don't come back to England right now. It's not a good time to come back to England. You're better off where you are. So I got marooned in Costa Rica for 2 months after being there for 2 months already. I wasn't complaining, but it was a good time and a good place to. I did 3 audiobooks while I was there. So this is the first one that we're releasing. It's available nowhere else except on the bundle. And I'm going to just keep saying,
By the fun.
buy the bundle. But if you're not happy with the bundle, I'll refund your money. I mean, it's like, come on. Nobody's going to be unhappy with this bundle. Not one single
I
person is
think
going to go, oh,
everybody's
I
going to
didn't
be
get my
happy.
money's
There's
worth on that
such
one.
amazing books in there, you know, like just two of them and you already got your money's worth. And they're all
Yeah,
great
exactly.
contributors. So, well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And
Treat. I love spending time with you. I really enjoy it. It's a treat to look in your eyes and see your happy face and hear more
I just made a
gymnastic
course.
stories and athletic
Uh,
prowess of gymnasts. Gymnasts are the best athletes.
I wish it was any good though.
Well, yeah, me too. I wish I was any good, but I coached some national champions. But my own abilities I was average. I was a college
Cool.
gymnast too, you know.
Cool. Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I'll let you know. I don't know if I'm going to go to the European Championships. Um, I don't know if I have that desire necessarily, but I've qualified for the British Championships many times in the last 8 years, and I've just never gone. But when my friend Steve said he was really thinking he'd go, I
That
go,
would be
okay, if you go,
interesting.
I'll go. I'll qualify. So it's given us a purpose, a reason to train like we're serious. Like, oh my gosh, there's only 120 weeks left. We better get on the.
Wow, I think it's really amazing, really amazing. I can't wait till you guys get there. I'd love to see how that goes. And
I'll keep you
I
informed.
mean, like,
Keep you
I
informed.
know,
I'm
but
going to
now
make
I
the
feel
podium.
there's hope
That's
for
my plan.
me, you know? Like, I mean, I'm 39, I can't go doing gymnastics
Oh yeah.
anymore. It just doesn't work. But I could do
No.
something else, you know? I love moving.
Yes, and you will do something else. And you will do something else. I mean, I've done lots of different things in sports, from ultra marathons to century rides to sprint things and triathlons. I've won some triathlons, but never did anything like this. You know, never did anything like this. This is so. It's such a different sport and really challenging because I mean, it takes 1 second.
Yeah.
It's got to be just right or it's wrong. And it's just fascinating. I'm
Yeah.
loving every bit
Thank
of it.
you so much.
So
Let
I credit Raw Foods with that. Like, if I wasn't Raw, I would not be training with these guys. There's just no way in the world. Just no way. I couldn't recover. So, you're very, very welcome, Wendy. It's a treat to spend time. Thank you for the invite and the platform. Anybody wants to come to Costa Rica, you can find out about it on my Food and Sport channel. FOODNSPORT.
All right. Have a great evening.
Wendy, I always tell, I used to tell people to go to health, but sometimes people misheard what I said.
No.
And I didn't want that. And so, no, they didn't hear me right. And so I've changed what I say. And now I remind everybody to up your health.
Up my health.
Yeah, and you
all
too,
right.
Wendy. Up yours.
Send love to the family.
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you for watching. Bye.